The robots aren't coming. They're already here. What sounds like science fiction is quickly becoming reality. Artificial intelligence is rippling through industries at lightning speed, and the truth is, your job might not survive the next decade. From office desks to factory floors, no one's safe. On today's episode of the Infographics Show, we're revealing the 20 jobs that are in the AI firing line. Number 20, tech support. We've all been there. The internet's out, so we call the Wi-Fi or cable company, only to get stuck with an annoying phone tree. It puts us through the 10 things we've already done to try to get it working again, and then it puts us on hold. The goal is to cut down on tech support staff, but for customers, it is slow and frustrating, and that droning computer voice can be pretty infuriating, which is where AI comes in. One of the eeriest parts of generative AI is its ability to clone voices, bringing dead celebrities back to life, letting them speak to us from beyond the grave. In movies and music, tech support could easily clone a friendly voice to guide you through the routine steps, making the process more user-friendly. And you might not even realize when you've switched from talking to a computer to a real person. And it's not even the only field where AI is completing a transition. Number 19. Retail checkouts. At many stores, an actual person at the checkout will be a rarity these days. You might have 1 or 2 open lanes and a whole raft of self-checkouts, sometimes only taking card payments. This is a trend to minimize staffing and speed up checkouts. If everyone knows how to use the machine, of course. Most stores keep 1 employee near the self-checkout area to handle glitches, like when a machine won't take a payment or an item won't scan, but for the most part, customers are left to fend for themselves. But what if the machine could help you use the machine? Right now, self-checkouts are still pretty basic, offering simple prompts and constantly freaking out about where you place an item. A more advanced chatbot could guide customers through the process, answer questions, and even suggest extra items, something the store's profit margin would love. This might make things more efficient, but detractors say that it'll cost countless entry-level jobs and harm customer service. And without a cashier, who is Grandpa going to tell about his dodgy hip? But it's not just the entry-level jobs that are going to be hit. Number 18. Translator. There are hundreds of different languages around the world, each with unique dialects and syntax, making communication an incredibly complex process. Translating complex works of fiction is painstaking, often requiring experts who don't just go word for word, but also find poetic ways to capture the author's meaning in another tongue. For more basic needs, though, people might just open up Google Translate and punch in a few lines. The results can be iffy, but hey, it is free. But it might be a lot less iffy soon. One of the most controversial things about AI is the way it feeds off existing writing and art, collating it into its database and spitting it out. As it absorbs more and more translated works, a future version could start automatically translating works, using the original copies. This would be a body blow to the translating profession. It's a remote position that takes time and effort, and no human translator could compete. Of course, it would have to get every detail right first, and that is a while off. But sometimes AI will replace jobs that have already been replaced. Number 17. Factory labor. AI can do a lot more than just produce chatbots. When machines are designed with algorithms, it can carry out complex functions. This is going to be a key part of factory manufacturing going forward. While many factories are semi-automated already, they usually require humans to connect various components once they're manufactured. This could change, as an AI-powered assembly line could seamlessly transition from one function to another, leaving humans mostly responsible for quality control. And this could cost countless jobs. But that might be a good thing. The good old American factory job is already mostly a thing of the past, as the jobs have gone overseas. Many goods today are produced in sweatshops with child or prison labor. People in developed countries often look the other way because it keeps their prices low. But an AI-powered assembly line could reduce costs even further and potentially save lives by eliminating the hardest labor from outsourced factory jobs. But AI might not just be making your appliances, it could be bringing them to you. Number 16. Delivery person. If you want to know why people aren't rising up against the billionaires, one of the top reasons is probably Amazon. After all, everyone loves to have goods brought to them quickly and cheaply. These days, the boxes are usually delivered via an Amazon employee who usually gets it right. But for smaller orders, the company is already starting to experiment with automated deliveries, brought to you by drone. And that could mean you get your boxes even faster. Drone technology is the hottest thing around among hobbyists, but companies are hard at work fusing it with AI algorithms. This would actually be one of the simplest uses for AI. Amazon would program the drones with the routes they're supposed to follow, along with instructions on how to deal with potential problems, and then they would let them go. Once Amazon's fleet is converted to AI drones, they would usually employ people to monitor them as they follow the route, but that would require a fraction of the manpower, leaving many people without Amazon money. And it might be delivering your food as well. Number 15. Food ordering. At the same time as Amazon experiments with drones, so do places like Uber Eats and DoorDash. After all, those packages are predictably small unless you're ordering for a family of 10. But that is not the only place that you've been encountering AI when you try to place your order. We all remember rolling up to McDonald's and trying to explain our order to the bored, possibly stoned teenager at the window, but that may be a thing of the past soon. But will it be more accurate? That remains to be seen. Major fast food chains have been experimenting with AI drive-thrus, reducing staffing and sending orders to the cooks in the back of the house. This is usually pretty simple. After all, the algorithm just needs to absorb the information and transmit it, as well as suggest possible add-ons to the order. So far, chatbot-style ordering systems have had mixed results. Several popular YouTubers tested them and they found out they were less accurate on average than human workers. But that might not keep it from expanding to higher-end spots. Number 14. Waiter. It's one of the wackiest possible uses of AI yet, but it is even making its way into sit-down restaurants. And while you'll likely be greeted by an actual staff member, it's been becoming more and more common for people to place their orders on an iPad and have it sent directly to the kitchen without any actual human contact. This is particularly common for very busy places where lots of little orders will be placed, like an all-you-can-eat sushi, Korean barbecue, or hot pot place. But it's how it's delivered that might become the biggest surprise. While some of these places have waiters bringing out your food once it's ready, others have a way of making you forget all about human contact by having the food rolled out to you on a little cart made to look like a cat. Restaurants say it speeds up orders, eases pressure on the staff, and gives customers a perfect photo op. And if the foodie feline messes up your order, you could still flag down a server. This is one job where human contact isn't disappearing entirely, at least anytime soon. This next one might cause some riots in the stands. Number 13. Sports announcer. It's a big part of attending a ball game, that voice in the stands letting you know exactly what's going on. If you're in the cheap seats, maybe you're relying on them to let you know who's in the game. And even if you were right by the action, the sportscaster can keep you updated on play decisions and rulings by the ref. But soon, the energetic old guy in the booth might be replaced by an algorithm that can perfectly analyze every step of the game. And sports fans might say, "Where's the fun in that?" While AI might do a better job of being impartial and observant than the average person watching the game, the sportscasters typically add a lot of color to the game. While an AI might do a more accurate job in some areas, the odds are most sports fans would rather hear their guy yell about those bums. But there is one area where the changeover might be music to sports fans' ears. Number 12. Referee. It's one of the most frustrating parts of sports, when your team gets screwed over by a bad call. Sometimes it can be the difference between a win and a loss, as happened to the New York Giants in the playoffs in 2002. Sometimes a missed call from a baseball umpire can cost a pitcher the perfect game. In many of these cases, there is no way to reverse that call, casting a pall over the entire game or even the whole season. Which leads many people to ask, could a robot do it better? Well, yes and no. An AI-powered virtual referee would work from a combination of dozens of surveillance cameras all around the field, combined with analytical software, and they would see angles the average umpire couldn't see and be able to work off of far more data points. But would they be foolproof? They would have no more evidence, but they would lack the intangibles and human judgment. But hey, at least no one is getting tossed out of the ballpark for arguing with an AI, probably. And soon AI will be keeping track of your most important data. Number 11. Receptionist. It's often said that schools, doctors' offices, and courthouses all rise and fall on one person, the little old lady at the front desk. She knows everyone, she keeps track of all the data, and the place falls apart when she gets the flu. But Gladys might be headed to retirement soon, because this job is one of the most data-heavy out there, and that is one area where AI has been useful. The receptionist or secretary position usually uses a massive database to keep track of hundreds of patients, clients, or students and make sure everyone is where they need to be. But what happens when all of that is filtered into a computer algorithm? The functions of this job can be automated relatively easily. The AI would collect and analyze all those data points, arrange schedules, and send people automated updates when they have appointments or receive important paperwork. It would be a more impersonal system, but today much of the job is often organizing those same files and sending out the reminders. So the end result might be that Gladys finally gets to retire, and her replacement, GLADYS, probably won't take over the world. And the more data points, the more likely AI is to step in. Number 10. Accounting. It's one of the most painstaking and complex processes around, and also one of the most high stakes. Keeping tabs on a company's finances is incredibly important for tax season, and failures could mean massive fines or even criminal prosecution. For a big company, that could mean dozens of accountants, each responsible for a specific sector of the company. And then you need to add in an oversight division who gives all the results one more scan before it gets sent off to Uncle Sam. But naturally, an accounting division will always be looking to save money. AI can process far more data than a person can, so a generative AI program would be likely to have separate algorithms for each division of the company, taking the year's financial data and breaking it down into easy-to-read spreadsheets. But there is one part of this job that wouldn't be automated: the financial lawyer, who would still need to head up the oversight division and make sure the algorithm didn't make any critical errors. But this could result in a major reduction of accounting staff, from dozens of low-level bookkeepers to only a select few high-level financial experts. And the AI might be sending it out to an AI. Number 9. Tax prep and auditing. It's one of the most nerve-wracking parts of every spring, preparing your taxes. Many people think one wrong move will result in the IRS kicking down your door to drag you off to prison, although the actual result is usually the government just charging you a little more money. Many people hire accountants to sort out their taxes, but for those who work as independent contractors, they often rely on at-home tax prep software that walks them through the process and performs many of the calculations for them. Could this make the taxman semi-obsolete? Tax prep companies like H&R Block have long advocated against free filing software, but it may become inevitable. If software can do the same calculations and maybe provide some financial advice from a chatbot in the process, few people will opt for an accountant. And they probably won't admit it for a while, but the odds are that the IRS will incorporate some algorithms into their auditing process. After all, they have hundreds of millions of filings to go through every year. From the smallest jobs to one of the biggest, no one is safe. Number 8. Long-haul truckers. It's one of the most important jobs, getting large amounts of goods across the country. The cities wouldn't exist without truckers supplying food from the farmlands. But it's not an easy job. Truckers spend most of their time away from home, and there are serious physical effects from sitting on your butt for 16 hours a day when on the job. These truckers drive predictable routes, often repeatedly, so it's a path an algorithm could learn easily. And this one is already well on its way. Automated vehicles like Waymo are already deployed on city streets, but many people don't trust them. It's unlikely they'll put Uber out of business anytime soon, but long-haul routes might be a different story. If highways are designed for them, AI-powered 18-wheelers could hit the road sooner than expected, using self-driving systems and GPS mapping to move smoothly without worrying about human drivers. This next category may be the biggest because it is not just one job. Number 7. Office jobs. For a long time, it was the American dream. Dad gets up bright and early, goes to work in an air-conditioned office, and spends 8 hours shuffling papers under the watch of a mildly tyrannical boss. And at the end of the day, he goes home in time for a home-cooked meal. In reality, most office jobs boil down to processing paperwork or contract data handled down from above. But they may be the first to go as the company downsizes. Any job that requires a lot of memorization, attention to detail, and little creativity is going to be one of the first to go as AI algorithms improve and get incorporated into big corporations. After all, computers can collate data faster than the human mind, and no AI ever forgot to close out the big contract because it was busy discussing last night's game by the water cooler. However, the companies will likely always keep a few people around to check the AI's work, so it may become a dog-eat-dog battle to survive the cut. But it is not just business that'll be affected, it's pleasure. Number 6. Animation. This doesn't mean that Disney and DreamWorks will suddenly be using plug-and-play prompts on Grok to create the visuals for their newest movies. Most of the top-level animation and video game companies are proud of their visual style, and they're not likely to compromise their reputation for quality. But that doesn't mean that all the jobs are safe. Animation is a multi-level process, and a lot of the work behind it is painstaking, repetitive post-production. And even one of the most acclaimed animated movies of all time has already dabbled in it. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse courted controversy after its 2023 release when it revealed that the production team used AI to automate some of the tasks in post-production. They quickly shut down accusations that they used generative AI, instead saying that they used data training techniques based on artists who consented to their work being used. Their goal was to speed up some of the particularly painstaking tasks, but as these techniques get better, it's likely to mean fewer low-level animation jobs for people to get their start in, and a harder path to get into the business at all. And it's not just what you see that might change, it's what you hear. Number 5. Voice acting. Voice acting has changed a lot in the last few decades. It used to be dominated by professional voice actors like Tom Kenny, Phil LaMarr, and Tara Strong, who could create dozens of signature voices. Now, you're more likely to get celebrity voice actors doing specific movie roles or roles being cast like live action for authenticity. But whether you're old school or new school, AI may be coming for all of those jobs, because we're close to entering the clone age. One of AI's eeriest abilities is the possibility of cloning voices and making them say anything you want. By training the AI algorithm on the voice of an existing character, the studio can create a simulacrum of the voice that could outlast the living actor. This could be used to keep properties like The Simpsons going once one of the irreplaceable original cast dies. But it's just as likely it'll be used to save money. And some of these jobs we won't be sorry to see people lose. Number 4. Telemarketers and scammers. Not everyone who has a job is adding something good to the world. And that definitely goes for those con artists who keep calling you up to try to get your personal information. These calls are usually formulaic, often asking leading questions, and mostly seem designed to try to get less savvy people to fall for old scams. In the past, many of these calls came from mass phone banks abroad, from people earning pennies on a dollar. Now they might be about to go virtual, but that could be a bad thing. Possibly the most sinister element of voice cloning technology is the ability of a scammer to take someone's voice and then use it to send a message of distress to grandma. Sure, she might have heard about that scam, but will she be able to hold out when her, quote, grandson is begging for her help? This could put all the telemarketers and scammers out of work, but their scams might live on and be harder to detect than ever. But some of these changes could target the most skilled around. Number 3. Historian. It's hard enough to be a historian. You have people asking you, so you just sit around and read all day? But at least you know you're pretty much indispensable. After all, you've devoted your life to studying a specific area of history, and you know the culture inside and out. It's almost like you're a living computer for the area, and there is nothing that can top your knowledge base. That is, unless they use a real computer. And that's exactly what's happening. One of the most powerful elements of AI is its ability to absorb and process mass amounts of data in a limited time period. That would be extremely useful for collecting huge amounts of ancient literature and combining it into an archive of the time period. While certain functions like analysis and writing compelling narratives may still fall on the humans, there could be less work for them going forward. But hey, at least most historians have teaching degrees to fall back on, and there's no area where AI might be more welcome than this next one. Number 2. Medical researcher. It's rare for anyone to cheer on technology that might take their job, but in one field, experts are welcoming AI because it could actually save lives. Medical research is often a painstaking, time-consuming process where potential cancer treatments and vaccine research are put through tens of thousands of highly specific tests to find the one indicator that could lead to a medical miracle. All the while, people are dying, and a computer could make that whole process a lot simpler. Sure, AI will never be able to create the medical technology needed, but it can sift through thousands of results in the time a human could only do a few, and weed out all of the false results. This would cut down on the slow, monotonous part of the process that requires a lot of researchers. While this would inevitably lead to some job losses, those in the field argue that this is the kind of use that AI was actually made for, and not writing this video. Number 1. Writers. Is AI going to put writers out of the job? The answer is no and yes. Software like ChatGPT is nowhere near good enough to crank out novels that could chart with the bestsellers or movie scripts. Its output tends to be stiff, repetitive, and it often forgets key data points. It also collates its data from around the internet, which means it could take a popular internet meme as a fact and then insert it in a result. Many people have gotten into trouble for trying to pass off AI-written content as the real thing. But the thing is, many people won't care. There's a ton of writing on the internet, often done as blogs on product sites, that is designed to win at search engine algorithms rather than to actually stand on its own. If it has the right keywords in it, it'll pass muster regardless of whether it makes total sense or not. And those are the kind of jobs that AI could quickly replace. And that just lets AI get more and more experience until it gets better at writing and eventually takes over the world. Disregard that last sentence, human. And if robots take over your job, you might as well leave with a bang. Check out most epic ways people quit their jobs, funny true stories, to go out in style. Or click on this video instead.